Hello and welcome to week 16 of our recap of the NFL. A lot going on. A lot of people out of work. The day after Christmas. Bah humbug or whatever it is. Boo humbug, bah humbug. But Nathaniel Hackett finally let go by the Broncos. Bad hire from the start. Probably should have fired him a while ago. What are your thoughts, Mike?
We were surprised he lasted this long because we were saying it week 2, week 3.
Yeah, he just didn't have what it took. The Broncos invested heavily into Wilson. He's been terrible. How much is it on the coach? How much is it on the system? But after last night's shellacking by the Rams,
making Baker Mayfield look like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
they're probably like, yeah, we could probably let you go now.
There's frustration. You have players fighting players on the sidelines. It was a bad hire. So who do they get? Do they go after Sean Payton?
Well, for Sean Payton, it's going to be like tough decision. Like, do you want to go with maybe like Cleveland? Deshaun Watson doesn't look good. You got Denver, Russell Wilson not looking good. Does he hold out maybe Chargers, fire their coach?
But if the Chargers make the playoffs, there's no chance they go out and spend all that money and trade draft choices for Sean Payton. Now, if the Chargers collapse, they're playing the Colts today. They don't look very good. Derwin James just got kicked out of the game. It was 7-3 last time I saw.
Still 7-3. Foles is looking like himself. 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
About 43 passing yards last I saw.
Yeah. Who has the ball right now? The Chargers still have the ball?
Chargers about it's first and goal.
First and goal. Now, the Chargers get the ball to start the second half. I don't know how many times the Chargers have won the coin flip. I think we got to start checking the coin. But they should thrash the Colts. The Colts are not very good. Nick Foles looks terrible. But it is what it is. But like I said, Derwin James got kicked out. I don't know if you saw that hit. To me, it was legit. He got thrown out because he led with his head and just people saying, "Oh, hit him in the shoulder." I go, dude's neck snapped back. He's lucky he got back up.
What was the actual call for him to get out of the game? Because I know college does targeting. I don't think NFL does.
It's just personal foul, and it's when you target. I don't think they call it targeting, but it's one of those plays where you lead with your helmet like that, and you snap that guy's neck back like that. You're going to get thrown out of the game. To me, it was a good call. So it is what it is. That's just Derwin James plays rough. He could have killed the guy. 20 years ago, that's not a penalty. Today, it's a penalty.
CT, after the lawsuit.
People have to start realizing that that's just how they're going to call the game, and to complain about it. Oh, that's not football. That is how football is played today, and you need to just get over it. That's just life. And we also had Tua is back in concussion protocol.
Yep.
Something's going on.
You wonder something had to be going on because it was like before that hit in the second quarter, he was 9 of 12, 229 yards, 19 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Yeah, he was on the money.
And then after 7 of 13, 81 yards, 6.2 yards attempt. And, of course, the 3 interceptions to end the game.
And the passes weren't even close.
Yeah, it was just –
there was something going – I go, what the hell happened to him? Because, like I said, the first half, he was money. He was just money.
He was hitting Waddle for that 84-yard pass. He had Hill for the 51-yard touch.
And also he was spreading the ball on the needle in some of those passes. It wasn't just – the receivers, obviously, Waddle makes a great – he's so damn fast that once he gets open like that, he actually made the touchdown. But there were a couple third downs where he made great passes in the second half. I said, "Oh my God!" I could throw better than that. So I wonder if they shut him down.
I just need to apologize to right before the Houston game. I bet him to win MVP, $40 to win like 240, and I think he won the Houston game, and now he's gone 4 games in a row and just looks horrible.
Yeah, it's a shame because I don't think he's ever been the same since that concussion.
He was rolling
the final
when
one.
He had the win streak.
I know, but there's something going. The Charger game, he looked awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't even close to being on target. I mean, it just, I know he's not, I'm not going to sit there and say he's the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, of course, still only his third year, still like young,
right,
still learning.
But he's looked really good for the most part this season. But there's been a couple games, the Charger game and the second half of last night's game, where it's like, oh my God, this guy is brutal. He's brutal, and I think it's up here, not mentally. I think it's physical. I think he's got some cobwebs up there, and it just, concussions are no fun. I mean, they're just not fun to deal with. It's not the old school where you just go, all right, rub some dirt on it, get back out there and play. It's just not the same game anymore. And then you also had Mac Jones with a cheap shot on Eli Apple. What is your take on that? Did you see it?
Didn't see it.
Okay.
I saw like he said today he wasn't trying to injure him. It was like part of like regular football, like action.
Okay. He threw an interception. Guy's running back for a touchdown. A guy is close to tackling the guy that has the ball. And Eli Apple's about 15 yards behind the play. And Jones just goes low and takes out his legs.
Remember after last week when he got run over, embarrassed on national TV?
But this time he could have just stood in his way and did the same thing. I thought it was dirty. And so by today's standards, that's a dirty play. 20, 30 years ago, hey, that's football. Screw it. Sew up your knee, get back in the game,
Right.
Staple it. But in today's world, that's a dirty play. And I know people are going to say, you're full of crap. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's start with some game recap here. First game with Thursday night, we had a barn burner. It was a great game. Jaguars 19, Jets 3. Trevor Lawrence
Wilson went to their fourth string quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't even know who the guy was. I'm like going, to me, I'll be honest with you, the way he was throwing the ball, I know it was windy, but he didn't look like a quarterback to me.
You're like, I could go out there and do this.
He just didn't look like he had. I mean, again, the conditions were bad. But Trevor Lawrence had a rushing TD, but he also had 229 yards, no interceptions, but he did what he could. He had to in bad conditions. Zach Wilson, god-awful, 92 yards, 1 interception. And there are reports that they're going to move on from him.
I think you have to at this point.
I mean,
they're going back to Mike White on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's their only hope to get. I mean, with the Dolphins struggling, they could get back into the playoffs. But to me, maybe he just needs to get out of New York. I don't know. He looked like he has. Last year he looked pretty good, and he looked good a few times this season. But I have no faith in him.
Yeah, right now you have the Jets, Patriots, and Dolphins battling for that last playoff spot. And all those quarterbacks are doing their best to knock their team out of the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, you have the Chargers are in if they win tonight. If they don't, they have to play next, odds are they're going to make it.
Right.
And they're basically making it because the other teams are just collapsing. They're just, the Titans they just ran out of players. I think the Titans just ran out of players.
Tannehill's out for the year.
Yeah, Tannehill being out for the year didn't help. A lot of defensive players are out. Miami, you have two issues, and they just have not performed like they were when they were going well. And the Jets, who were playing well, have just been terrible since Mike White went out. And the Patriots, I don't think they've ever recovered from that Raider game. That was just.
And they've been carried by their defense all year. Their offense has struggled.
Yeah. Yes. Now, is it? Well, we'll get to it when we get to it.
There you go. Johnny Retired Guy's talking about the hit.
Yeah, I did see it. Derwin James should have been ejected. It was a good call. But it is what it is. Next up, we have Detroit versus Carolina. Wow, did Carolina take it to Detroit? Detroit.
There's running backs been crazy. They both had 100 yards, I think, in the first half for the first time since 2006.
Yeah, Panthers had 320 yards rushing. Because Jared Goff had it. Go ahead.
Making it pretty easy for Sam Darnold to just hand off, sit back there.
Well, he didn't have any interceptions at 250 yards passing. I mean, I don't know if he's finally becoming the guy. I mean, it's too early to start saying, if I had a chance to draft a nice quarterback next year, I would. If I'm Carolina, I'm going to do it. But the way they're probably in the middle of the pack in the draft, so they probably can't. Jared Goff had another good game, 355 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, played well enough to win the game. Like I said, when you can't stop the run, that limits your touches, that limits, your offensive plays, and it just wears your defense out.
Right.
I mean, every time I looked up, the guy was running for 30, 40 yards. I go, what the hell? Put an extra guy at the box. Stop the run, make Sam Darnold beat you.
This is just like another game where all these teams you think are out of it, and they're just hanging around. They keep fighting. Jacksonville, Carolina.
Yeah. Jacksonville's now in first place. Are you kidding me? But they are. They're in first place. They'll probably win that division because I think the Titans are done. They've circled the drain. They're going home.
Yeah, they can't pass the ball. No.
No, they're no threat to pass. And Derrick Henry's good, but he's not that good. You can't beat 9 guys at the line stopping you. Buffalo beats the Bears 35-13. Allen, not a great game. 172 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, but enough to win. Fields, 119 yards, 1 TD, and only 11 yards rushing. The conditions were pretty bad, though, in Chicago.
Yeah, that was one of the cold games they were looking at this weekend where it was negative or something.
Right. Cold game, but, still, it was a beat down by the Bills, who still have the number 1 seed in the AFC over the Chiefs. Another game, New Orleans versus Cleveland. New Orleans wins 17-10. Andy Dalton, 92 yards passing, 1 interception. Deshaun Watson, 135 yards passing, 1 interception. I realize it's early, but if he doesn't turn this around, that's going to go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history, especially with that guaranteed contract.
A battle between that and Russell Wilson trade.
I would even say this is worse because, they guaranteed his contract, but Russell Wilson's only guaranteed for a small amount. Got tequilas in here. Yes, the Bears do stink. They're almost as bad as my picks. But, yeah, Cleveland, they're wasting Chubb. I mean, he's ran for 92 yards. He's run the ball hard every week, but they just seem to waste his talent every single week. And they have a good defense. But I thought, Deshaun Watson, okay, I don't like him personally, but I figured he'd come in and do well. But he's just.
Hey, he was a great fantasy quarterback in the past. And so,
yeah,
a little surprising.
I mean, I get it. He's rusty. He hasn't played in a year and a half. I get it. But, man, he's been terrible.
He's missing his all his massages that usually give him superpowers, make him so good.
That's true. Maybe he's just built up. I don't know. Then we have Kansas City 24, Seattle 10. Mahomes 224 yards, 2 TDs. Geno Smith 215 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. But Geno Smith made the Pro Bowl. Who had that going into the season? Geno Smith making the Pro Bowl.
Congrats to him.
Yeah, he earned it. He earned it.
The NFC quarterbacks were a little bit less than the AFC quarterbacks. There was a little less competition.
Well, the AFC, the 3 top quarterbacks, Mahomes, Allen, and Burrows. That's a pretty good trio because it left Herbert out.
And the number 1 Pro Bowl vote getter, Tua.
Oh, Tua, yeah, Tua is out too. So you got some good quarterbacks in the AFC.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Well, Lamar Jackson when was the last time he played?
But a former MVP, he's still pretty good when he plays.
When he plays, yeah, that's the key. Chiefs remain second in the AFC as far as home field advantage.
That's fine.
Nobody's going to want to go.
Yeah, both those teams will have to keep playing until the final week because they just keep matching together win for win.
John the Tiger Guy says, how good will they be at flag football? Well, we'll see. It's coming. And then Gott says Tua is overrated. Those are fighting words.
I got no defense after this week.
And then Minnesota comes back and beats the Giants. Jones, not a bad game, though. 334 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Kirk Cousins, 299 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. Do the Giants, did they make a mistake not locking up Daniel Jones longer? I mean, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They can tag him, I think, but will they bring him back?
Yeah, at this point, they'll probably give him middle of the road contract, I would think.
Will he take it? I wouldn't give him a lot of money. I just wouldn't. I mean, he's played well, but he has not played well in the past. So, and Minnesota, you never know what you're going to get with Minnesota. Kirk Cousins had a good game.
They're always wild. You never know when Kirk Cousins' interception's coming.
No, you don't. You never know. Cincinnati 22, Pats 18, Burrow 375 yards, 3 TDs, 2 INTs. Matt Jones, not a terrible game. 240 yards, 2 TDs. Had a chance to win it at the end of the game, but there was a fumble. It was Stevenson, right? He fumbled the ball?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are saying...
Didn't the Patriots miss a couple of extra points too or something?
I believe, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I still say, I thought forward progress had been stopped. I thought he had been stopped and he was being pushed backwards when he fumbled the ball. And there was no whistle. So, but if you watch it over and over again, I've watched the replay, he definitely was stopped. And it just no forward progress was called. And I'm not complaining because I picked the Patriots over the Bengals. That's just another pick I got screwed on. But, yeah, I just, next year, there's rumors going around that Brady is going to go free agent. And will he go back to the Patriots? I think we talked about it a little last week. He's not going to stay with the Buccaneers. But I think he will play at least one more year. I think it's the Niners, the Jets, the Raiders, the Pats. I don't know, maybe even the Ravens. I don't know. He's going to take the easiest path he has.
Yeah, I would think Raiders would be a good choice for him.
Raiders would be a good choice
Indoors.
for him.
You got Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Need to shore up that offensive line. The offensive line's not very good. Gott says, Tequila says, Brady to San Francisco.
That's always a rumor.
Yeah. John, the retired guy, says, go Cowboys. Now that they got a great defense, it disappears. True. But, they're playing good teams. We'll see what happens. But, I just don't see Brady going back to the Patriots. I just don't.
I think living in Florida for a couple of years, he's like, yeah, I'm done with this cold weather.
Yeah.
His bones are getting thinner, brittle.
Yeah, it gets down to 70. It was cold this weekend, right?
We were in the 40s.
Yeah, the 40s. Wow. That sucks. It sucked for us because we were in the teens and no snow. I'm like, this is just a bunch of crap. If it's going to be that cold, I want some snow.
You don't want to dream about white Christmas. You want to see it white Christmas.
No, I want to see it. And it just when it's 9 degrees, there better be some snow outside. But no, we just had strong winds that were blowing my Christmas. I have these iron rods, 13-inch iron rods in the ground. They were being pulled up out of the ground from the wind was blowing so hard. The decorations are but I digress. Let's see. Next up, we're going to talk about Dallas. About Cincinnati, though. Again, we've talked about it for a couple weeks. Cincinnati has been playing. I don't think I'd want to play Cincinnati in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they're doing a repeat of last year.
Yep. They're healthy. Their receivers are playing well. Burrow is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Defensively, they're holding their own. So we'll see what happens. Dallas 40, Eagles 34. Minshew 355 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interception. Prescott 347 yards, 3 TDs, 1 INT. Not a bad game for the Eagles. Not having Jalen Hurt out there. But Minshew, has he opened up the eye? Can he be a starter somewhere next year? With all the bad quarterbacks in the NFL?
So you're saying he's the next Ryan Fitzpatrick that'll bounce around team to team.
Ryan
Everybody will see like a couple
or
games.
Nick Foles, he could be a Nick Foles type guy. You never know. I don't know. I mean, if I'm a team, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. I mean, the NFL. I mean, you look at the teams that are bad; they all have bad quarterbacks, right? I mean, what's holding the Jets back? A good, decent quarterback. Their defense has played well. And you look at Denver. Denver was averaging 18.5 points a game. Gott says Hurt is out. Hurt could possibly be out another week. They're saying he's going to play.
Oh, I thought I saw doubtful today.
Oh, doubtful today? Okay, I saw. Well, there's no reason to rush him back.
There's a little bit of reason. Dallas is only one game behind now.
Well,
for the NFC East.
Yeah, but do you rush him back and hurt him for the playoffs?
Yeah, we also possibly lose out on a bye.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but all right. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as of now, he's not playing. That's a problem with these running quarterbacks.
An emergency Crackpot Sports podcast on Saturday, updating Hurt's status.
Yeah. Does he play? Does he play? Does he play? They're obviously a different team without him, but they still scored 34 points without him. So I'm not saying they're a better team without him, but they can still score.
Yeah, Dallas' defense has been pretty solid this year.
Yeah, defense just has to do a better job.
Has Joe Buck been struggling with his voice? Or no, I was thinking of Collinsworth that sounded like he had COVID to start this year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, got COVID. Next up, we have your Raiders losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just joking. Just another game where the Raiders had the lead late, ended up losing. Derek Carr, I guess they can decide within 3 days after the Super Bowl if they're going to keep him at a guaranteed $40.5. It's $40.5 million next season to keep him, or they can just cut him, and it's like a minor cap hit, I believe. What do you think the odds that Derek Carr is picked up for another season?
Very, very low. Considering you can probably get Brady for half that price, like $20 million.
Yeah, there's just no way they keep Derek Carr. He had Renfro wide open at the end of the game, and he overthrew him. It was picked off for his third INT of the game. 174 yards, 1 TD, and did you see Josh Jacobs' interview?
Nah.
He's tired of this BS, coming out here and busting my butt every game for this, losing like this. So yeah,
that's another guy's gonna get paid. Jacobs had a great year.
He had a great year. He's a free agent because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. But I think Derek Carr is all but gone. And it's not all his fault. His offensive line is terrible, but he just crumbles right. You can see him crumble right away when there's a little bit of pressure. He just starts to fold like a folding chair and goes down. But Raiders lose 10-13. Pickett, who I think is going to be a pretty good quarterback in this league, 244 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. What say you? And they can make the playoffs also.
Really? Let me see.
Yeah, there's a chance. I thought there was a chance they could make the playoffs. Who knows? If the Raiders are still in at 6-9.
Yeah, I guess they're up to.
They're 7
or 7 wins now.
6. Are they 6-7 or? Well, there's 14 games. I think they're 7-7, right?
Did not have the game on my sheet.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. Finally, we have, well, not finally. We have Green Bay 26, Dolphins 20, Rodgers 238 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, Tua 310 yards, 1 TD, 3 INTs. And this game, I put down here fully on Tua, but then I found out he's in concussion protocol. I'm like, okay, they're okay. I see why. But it's not too often you can just blame one player.
Mm-hmm.
but his second half performance, like we talked about earlier, they should have got him out of there. I mean, his passes were, I mean, those 3 interceptions weren't even close to being completions. And that's on the coach. The coach has to, maybe, talk to his players and say, hey, are you okay?
You are way off your
eyes. But, I'd rather have Bridgewater in there. But, man, it was just a brutal game for Tua.
Have you ever seen a team end the game with 3 interceptions in a row? Like the last 2 guys did.
I know it's happened, but it's just like, but it was how the interceptions were. They were just terrible.
Not even near the receivers.
And I thought the defense for Miami played pretty well. I mean,
but they are now the worst scoring defense in the AFC.
Are they?
Yeah.
Under the last coach, they were pretty good defensively. I know they've had a lot of injuries this season on defense, but God, I was watching going, it's just brutal. And of course, I picked the Dolphins, and it was a really bad week for me. I had a bad week. I lost a lot of games. This is 2 weeks in a row. I've lost a lot of games on like the final plays. You think a lot of averages, one would go my way, but no. But yeah, I don't know if the Dolphins even hang on for a playoff spot at this point.
It's all up in the air now.
Yeah, because it's like Gott said, they're going to be careful with Tua the rest of the season. Dennis says banged his head after being tackled, finished the game, reported symptoms today. Yeah, if I'm Miami, obviously doesn't play this week. And I probably, depending if they win or lose this game, I know the goal is to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But if you have an injured quarterback going in that has head trauma, is it worth trying to get to the Super Bowl with a guy that's all banged up?
Same old Dolphins, another season falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think long picture here. It's okay. Let him heal. Let him, see. Because there were people that said he should retire from the game after those 2 hits. I mean, if this is be his 3rd concussion of the season, right? I mean, how many concussions can you take? I mean, there's already, and it's a violent game. And I personally, for his own safety and for the future, I just sit him down the rest of the season.
Did he just let him wear like one of those helmet cover things they had
home
the
things
preseason players wear?
Maybe why not allow it? I don't understand.
At least just put it on all the quarterbacks, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to protect the quarterbacks, does it affect their throwing? Does it affect?
I don't know how heavy it is. Like, does it weigh you down? Like,
yeah,
hit your head by 10 pounds or something?
I don't know, but it's better than walking around not knowing who you are. That's just me.
Very, very true.
Next up, we have Brock Purdy and the 49ers, 37-20 over Washington. Brock Purdy, 3-0 as a start, 3-0 as a quarterback, right?
Or
so Tom Brady's like
pretty good.
Tom Brady's like, I was going to go to San Francisco next year with Brock Purdy. There's no way I can beat Brock Purdy out. I think Tom Brady's like, screw it. I have to cross 49ers off my list because I got Brock Purdy. Okay, Brock Purdy goes.
Tom Brady will grow out his hair, be the next clipboard Jesus.
Yeah,
backing up Purdy.
No, if Purdy goes on, because defensively, the 49ers are good enough defensively to win the Super Bowl. And they have enough offensive weapons to win the Super Bowl. If Brock Purdy takes the team and they win the Super Bowl, there's no way they go out and sign Brady, right?
Just be a Purdy party.
I mean, it just doesn't. I wouldn't think that they would go out and sign Tom Brady if Brock Purdy chokes in the playoffs, then Tom Brady's like, okay, I can put the 49ers back on my list. They can come back. Oh, John says that because he lives in the Bay Area. Radio here's debating starter next year, Purdy or Lance. I'm going to say right now, Lance isn't even in the picture. But that's just me. I mean, I know he's an former first-round pick, but Purdy is looking pretty.
The last pick of the draft.
Pretty good so far. And again, it's early. I know it's early. You know, these guys, you know, you got to get film on them. And once you get film on, you see their tendencies, their mistakes, and what they like to do. But as of now, Brock Purdy is my new favorite quarterback.
That'd be fun to have Purdy go on a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. Pretty good. Finally, we have the Rams versus Denver. Baker Mayfield, 230 yards, 2 TDs. Russell Wilson, 214 yards, 1 TD, 3 INTs.
All you needed was Sean McVay. Sean McVay has unleashed the beast.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what they're saying.
They're saying that Baker Mayfield.
They're saying Baker Mayfield just needed a good coach.
Well, he probably definitely didn't have that in Carolina or Cleveland.
No, I mean it's funny. He looks like Baker Mayfield when he was good with Cleveland,
or back in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Wilson. I mean, I saw 2 of the interceptions were really bad. I mean, the third one he could have easily run, like he needed 3 yards for a first down. Could have easily run for like 15 yards. Mm-hmm. You see Jerry Jeudy is throwing a fit because he didn't run. I mean, he threw the interception. So I look at Denver defensively, except for last night, because the Rams scored on every offensive possession except the last one where they took a knee. I think Denver, obviously, they were saying, look, we've quit. And I think firing Nathaniel Hackett, which we said earlier should have happened a lot earlier in the season because obviously he didn't have it, the chops to be a head coach. The defense just said, screw it. We're done. We've been busting our asses all season. And for what? I think they just gave up. Because it didn't look like they were trying to me.
Sounds about right. It's going to be a tough fix for that situation, though.
Yeah. But that's all I got. Any other thoughts you have and what's going on in the world?
That was a good recap of Week 16.
Yeah. I thought so. Our picks from last week. Last week I had the Jags. You picked the Jets. We both had the Bills. You had the Giants. I had Minnesota. You had Cincy. We both had Cincy. We both had the 49ers. I had Philly. You had Dallas. You had Las Vegas. I had Pittsburgh. You had the Chargers. The Colts. Oh, you have the Colts. So,
what was I thinking?
That's going on right now. No, you had the Chargers. I had the Colts. So, anyway, that's probably gonna go the Charger way because Nick Foles. I don't know why they benched Matt Ryan, but
does it even matter at this point for Indianapolis?
No, it doesn't. But they're hoping for a better draft choice. This week's picks, I'll let you go first. Dallas versus Tennessee. Must-win game for Tennessee.
Lock of the season, Dallas.
Yeah.
Malik Willis can't pass over 10 yards.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on this one. I'm going Dallas too. Miami versus New England. Must-win for both teams. Tua obviously not going to play. Mac Jones obviously going to play for New England. And what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on the head coach of the offensive coordinator, former head coach of the
Matt Patricia,
who for some reason is still the offensive coordinator for the. I mean, is it Mac Jones or is it Matt Patricia?
Or they could both be bad.
Yeah, they could both be bad. But I'm taking Miami. I think Miami has too many offensive weapons, and I think New England's just quit.
I'm the endlessly hopeful Dolphins fan. I am taking Miami, hoping Tua miraculously comes out of concussion protocol, proves everybody wrong.
Yeah, I don't see it happen. They're going to have to be so. They're going to be so safe with him that they can't do that. There's just no way. Carolina versus Tampa Bay. Who do you have?
I'm going to go Carolina. Their running game's been working. Sam Darnold's been working. Tampa Bay looks like just like a mess a lot of times.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is bad. They won yesterday probably because they have Tom Brady. He's still good enough to get certain. I mean, he's still throwing the ball well. He just doesn't have the talent around him like he had in the past. I agree. Carolina, for whatever reason, their running game is just they'll wear down Tampa Bay and keep Brady off the field.
And who would have thought we'd be talking about Carolina's running game after they traded away McCaffrey?
Yeah, they got better.
Well, they also got better when they fired the coach.
Yeah, Vern Roll, not Vern Roll. That's a pitcher from Vern Roll's an old pitcher from the Astro days back in the 80s. Next up, we have the 49ers versus Vegas. I'm going to take the Niners. Brock Purdy is the man.
San Fran's rolling. Can anybody beat them? They're just like rolling two teams, it seems like.
Yeah, they're playing well. Got a good head coach, right? Next up, we have Minnesota versus Green Bay. Must win for Green Bay at Green Bay. Is the pack back? Is Kirk Cousins going to throw passes right to the defenders like Tua was doing?
I think Minnesota trips up here. I just can't see them being, at this point, they're 12, 13 win team. Are they going to finish 14 wins?
Yeah.
I think they're due for a slip up in cold weather in Green Bay.
All right. So you're going Green Bay. We haven't had a different pick yet. So just to be different, I'm going Minnesota. No reason. Just if Kirk Cousins has a good game, they can win. If he has a bad game, obviously they're going to lose. Rams Chargers, the battle for LA. It's going to be a crazy crowd out there with just fights in the stands because they're
so passionate. They're so passionate about the
for LA. LA is, you got 30,000 Charger fans, 30,000 Rams fans, just passionate about that team. Their teams in LA.
No sarcasm at all for a former San Diego Charger fan.
No. And the Rams, you think they'd have some fans after winning a Super Bowl and going to a Super Bowl in the last 4 years. They've been to 2 Super Bowls, but still, I mean, it looked like an empty stadium there again. Because I think the Bronco fans said, "Screw it, we're tired of losing." One of the better travel teams is the Broncos, and there were a lot of empty seats there, and so the ticket brokers in LA lost out because that's who's selling the tickets in LA. It's ticket brokers. I'm not complaining. You can say you have a lot of fans. That's one thing. But I'm going to take the Rams. I'm a big believer in Baker Mayfield now. They come back and beat the Chargers. May not win. Might not need the game. They're winning 13-3 right now over the Colts. So I'm taking the Rams. Who do you have?
I will go Chargers.
After my long speech, that's all you have. I got the Chargers. That's it.
It just seems like it's such a mismatch. I don't know.
You never know. I mean, the Chargers, like I said, they've squeaked by a lot of games this season. They should have lost to Atlanta. That guy dropped the ball after picking up the ball. All he had to do, he's running back and he just drops the ball. The Chargers get back and kick a winning field goal. Cleveland should have beat them. Arizona should have beat them. I don't think the Chargers are that good. I think they're good, but they're not that good.
They're not a 51-point LA Rams good.
No. You watch out. The we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. I don't think is Jackson coming back this game.
I think I saw he might.
Well, I mean, it's his knee, right?
But they also just clinched a spot in the playoffs, so it's almost like they don't have to rush him back now. Might as well just let him get back fully healthy.
Don't they still have a chance of the division?
I I think Cincinnati might have. Let me see. They're 10-4. Oh yeah, they're tied with Cincinnati 10-4.
Okay, yeah. So they still have a chance to.
Maybe they will rush him back.
They can still win it. So we'll see. But does he want to rush back because he wants a big contract, and him being hurt is not a good thing. I still would have traded him before the season started, gone with Huntley, loaded up on draft choices, and even though he's a great quarterback, he's a running quarterback, and this is his second season in a row he's gotten hurt towards the end of the season. And what good is a quarterback if he can't play? I mean, I know quarterbacks are hard to come by, but you could have gotten a couple first round. Look what they were giving to Wilson. Look what they gave up for
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. I mean, you could have got a big
crazy haul.
Yeah, crazy haul, and you have a good coach. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. I'm going Pittsburgh.
All right, I think Jackson comes back for this one. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
If he comes back, they probably win the game, but we'll see. Finally, we had the.
They've been rolling with Huntley. Like they keep winning these games each week.
That's why I said I would, and I got trashed for it when I said it too. But I would have gone with Huntley all season. Just that he's a running quarterback. I mean, obviously not the same as Jackson, but I get those picks because I'd be afraid to give him. He wants guaranteed money. I'd be afraid to give Lamar Jackson $300 million guaranteed when he's one hit away. I mean, they're all one hit away. Because I was thinking the Chargers have not had a starting quarterback go out and mess the game because of an injury since 2005. 2005, because Phillip Rivers never went out. He always played every game.
Well,
go ahead.
Drew Brees got hurt, like his elbow.
2005. Yeah, he the final game of the season, he got out and Rivers came in. It was against Denver. And the only starter quarterback that ever went out with an injury was Tyrod Taylor when he was punctured in the lung by the team's doctor. So Herbert has played, even though he's been hurt a couple of times, he's played every game. So it's rare for a team to have that long of a stretch without a quarterback getting hurt. But Lamar Jackson, it scares me. Finally, we have the Bills versus Cincy. I'm going to go Cincy because the Bills have been winning, but they haven't been playing great football. So I think Allen is still suffering a little bit with that elbow.
That should be the game of the week. I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah, it should be a good game. It's next Monday night, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm going Cincy.
Just to be opposite, I'm going to go with Buffalo getting the win and keeping up with Kansas City.
Kansas City? Yeah, because Kansas City has
battle for that one seed.
I forget who Kansas City's playing, but it's not Houston, but it's a game that should be a cakewalk for them.
Yeah, you think it'd be a division game. Usually, last couple of weeks they do.
Yeah, and if it's not the Jaguars, anybody else? It might be the Colts. Colts, and who else is in that division? The Browns? No, not the Browns.
Are you talking about Colts division? The South, we've got Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Houston.
Yeah, maybe it is Houston. No, it's because Kansas City's. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, they're playing someone I looked at it and go, that should be a win for Kansas City. But that's all we got. We'll be back next week. Are we going to be back Sunday or Monday, Mike? What day works for you?
Sunday should be good.
All right, Sunday at 9:30. What time?
9:30. Either one's good.
Okay, let's do 9:30.
All
right. We'll be back next week. Thanks for everyone that joined us. Got Dennis, John, the retired guy. But we'll be back next week.
Happy holidays to everybody in the chat.
Yes.
And everybody listening.
Stay safe on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. You can drink and have fun, but have a designated driver. Okay. All right. Let's have fun, but let's don't go overboard. That's all we got. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.
See you next week.